All right, week 12 of the chest cycle, November 10th here. Obviously, it's chest day. And whether or not you're doing the cycle, I put a proponent in here of week 12 for everybody. That being obviously the 1 rep max. If you are finishing off, the cycle here, and a lot of you guys are a week behind. So if you're a week behind, obviously you will simply do this next week. But for those of you that didn't participate in the cycle and are finishing the cycle, 1 rep max, and there's a lot of little things that go into the 1 rep max. I think it starts, up top. So the mentality of it, being positive, getting understanding that I'm going to do the best I can here. I'm going to give myself multiple opportunities. You guys do not have to do the 1 rep max simply one time. Like if it doesn't go well, maybe you lose your line, maybe you just didn't get set appropriately. You guys can get, have at this 2-3 times pretty successfully. So, if the first one doesn't go right, totally fine. If you didn't participate in the cycle and you just want to try the 1 rep max because you don't know yours and you want to set the tone, perfect day to do it. Everybody around you is going to be doing it. Obviously, lower your expectations a little bit. If you have never done this before, your goal is to, and also the goal of the cyclers, of course, is to do, the cleanest version of the most weight you can handle, right? And what I mean by that is a lot of people often dilute their percentages. Maybe dilute's not the right word, but it skews their percentages. If you end up using a heavier weight, but it's like mechanically or technically not sound, maybe you're lifting your hips or one arm's going up over the other, or you're leaning, or the dumbbells are just kind of all over the place in terms of the line of motion. To give an example, if I were to do 70-pound dumbbells and let's say I did 65 dumbbells pretty easy. I'm like, all right, 65s were smooth. I'm going to try 70s. And I go to 70s, and for whatever reason, there's a kink in my chain, and I just can't get them up smoothly, and that my form is kind of falling apart underneath me. Even if I do ultimately get them up, my form and the technical side of it and the fundamental side of the movement was so poor that I don't want to use the 70s as my max, because that obviously shows that as my weight goes up, there is a kink somewhere in the kinetic chain, and I need to work on cleaning that up. And I can't do it if my weights are always elevated because I use a 70-pound max instead of a 65-pound max with good form. Hopefully that makes sense. I know I've had this conversation with a lot of people on an individual level. But again, I'm excited. 12th week of the cycle. A lot of you guys have seen this through for 3 months now. Keep in mind, even if, let's say, again, I did 65s or 70s, let's say 70s, my first week, and it was a really hard 1 rep for 70s. If you guys get to the 12th week and your weight doesn't necessarily go up, like let's say I do 70s, but it's a smooth rep, right? And then I go to 75s, and I just, for whatever reason, I cannot get the 75s up. You didn't fail. Like, the amount of repetition and volume that you guys get within a cycle is invaluable. Like, your power output and the neuromuscular connection goes through the roof with repetition. The cycle provides you guys with repetition that you typically wouldn't do on a consistent basis. So try to remember back to what, that 1 rep max felt like on week 1. When you get to week 12, worst case scenario, you end up doing the same weight, but it moves fluidly, right? Like it is just clean, point of contact, perfect line and up. And then you try the heavier weight and it doesn't work. You still gained there. Like you gained. It may not say it on paper, but you guys should be able to feel and be aware that you did gain there moving forward. And hopefully you set up the foundation for the next time we approach a chest cycle. If you're not participating, obviously, in the cycle, you're just going to do your typical, foundational 4 to 5 sets, 8 to 12 reps. But once you guys finish, full transparency, I try often to kind of yin and yang or counteract. It's also called like agonist and antagonist. So, if we're doing all this pushing, I like to counter it with a lot of pulling. So a lot of times on chest day, you guys will see like rowing. You'll see a lot of like Olympic lifts type of thing, pulling off the ground. Things to just counter all the pushing you're doing. And that's kind of what you see down here. Well, not right here, but you'll see in the next block. But down here, I didn't want to do anything else chest related because the next block is going to be pretty heavy in that sense. And then you got a flex EMOM. So the second part of why I wanted to go over this, a flex EMOM. We actually haven't done this in a while. I've kind of there's so many structures. Sometimes I just forget about them, and I really like this format. I should try to incorporate these a little bit more. I guess you guys can let me know if you enjoy this as well. But it leaves a door open to you guys doing a couple of things. So you got 16 or 20 minutes. So you right out of the gate, you can just decide by looking at the monitor, how hard do I want to try? What movements maybe do I want to put my effort into? Do I want to approach this entire thing in like a 4-round or a 5-round sense? And if I choose to do 4, is it because, maybe I'm just deconditioned and I'm new to the gym, or is it because I want to go like 80% here and really push myself, which is going to eliminate that last round, right? So you guys can make that choice immediately. And then you get to decide, am I going to do 4 or 5 exercises? And anytime you see something in blue, remember, I'm adding that in there basically as a challenge. Like, blue is the advanced version of this. It is a progression, to say the least. So the first things first, like, no pressure. Like, you do not have to do things that you see in blue. So keep that in mind for the future. But you're either going to do 4 rounds of 4 minutes here. You can do 5 rounds of 4 minutes. Or you guys can do 4 rounds of 5 exercises. So again, 4 rounds of 4 minutes, 5 rounds of 4 minutes, or you can do 4 rounds of 5 minutes. And if you choose the latter here, adding in double presses is incredibly taxing, right? You're adding in a movement that not only jacks your heart rate up, it's not going to allow you to gain your composure and bring your heart rate down. So that's number one. It's a pushing movement, so you have to push off the ground, which is going to tax you on the incline press and on the tricep press, unlike if it wasn't there at all, right? And then again, you do have to finish up and overhead, which is not only are you pushing off the ground, but you're taxing your shoulders even more, getting up and overhead, which is ultimately going to kind of hurt you a little bit on all the pushing as well. So, if you choose to add that in, like, just expect it's going to be significantly more challenging, especially if you try to, jack the weight up a little bit based off of who you are. But no pressure. Like, you guys see blue, no pressure whatsoever. And what I was saying in the last block, the ground to shoulder and Olympic lift, again, the slam balls are our best friends. Olympic lifts are our best friends. And they work really, really well on pushing days because, again, it's a pulling motion and that high pull, as you guys already know. A high pull being the primary lift of all Olympic lifts because, again, you got to generate force up and off the ground. But either way, I'm excited about this entire day. Obviously very excited about the chest cycle week 12. We will do our best to have a second trainer in the morning to help people out. And on that note, real quick, I would strongly advise you guys that are moving, all this weight week 12, aiming for your new 1 rep max. If you can help it, let the trainers do the work for you guys. Let the trainers get them up onto your knees. Deadlifting these weights off the ground in this particular circumstance is just not ideal. We want all of your effort to go into the 1 rep max. I don't need you guys deadlifting 200, 250 pounds off the ground. Your heart rate gets jacked up. You have to stabilize your back. Eliminate all of that. Let's just focus on putting all of our energy into our 1 rep max. So excited for this. See everybody next Monday.